Last time, Yamori stopped Mishiro from attempting to take her own life. But during the struggle, he was accidentally shot by her. When Yamori woke up, he found himself lying in a hospital bed. Seeing that he was awake, Kabura, who was making rounds, ignored Yamori's protests and removed his clothes. After confirming that the wound had almost healed, she left relieved. Lying in bed, Yamori began to wonder if his previous experiences had been a dream. When he woke again, it was already nighttime, and he noticed Mishiro sitting beside him. Mishiro apologized profusely for accidentally shooting him, which made Yamori realize that what happened was not a dream. He quickly asked her what had occurred. Mishiro explained that after Yamori was shot, he seemed to transform into a vampire for a moment. However, upon carefully examining his body afterward, she concluded that he was undoubtedly still human. Regardless, Mishiro was relieved that Yamori was safe, as she wouldn't have known how to face Nanaksa otherwise. She told Yamori that she had spent 10 years of her life researching how to eradicate vampires completely, but all her efforts were shattered that night. Having lost her purpose, she initially intended to end her life. However, after seeing Yamori fall after being shot, she realized how terrifying death truly is. After ruining her life, she now felt like an empty shell. Mishiro expressed her hope that Yamori would not end up like her, failing to achieve any of her desires and becoming an unaccomplished old woman. Yamori recalled that since they first met, Mishiro had always worried about him following a similar path. To comfort her, he not only wished her a happy birthday but also remarked that, in his opinion, women are still considered big sisters until the age of 40. This absurd comment lightened Mishiro's mood significantly. She stepped out onto the balcony and found Nanaksa waiting there. Mishiro told Nanaksa that she had tried to love her but ultimately couldn't. Nanaksa apologized, blaming herself for being unappealing. The two then began bantering as if time had turned back to the old days. Meanwhile, Nico, who came to visit, learned the whole story from Yamori. As she was leaving, Yamori noticed a strange expression on her face and asked what was wrong. But Nico brushed it off, realizing that he hadn't seen Nanaksa since waking up. Yamori unconsciously pressed the call button on his wristwatch. To his surprise, he heard a sound from outside the door, saying that she had been discovered. Nanaksa had no choice but to pretend nonchalantly and enter the room. However, upon confirming that Yamori was safe, she couldn't help but rush forward and hug him. When Yamori heard Nanaksa thank him for saving Mishiro, he felt a hint of jealousy, remarking that even after being hurt by Mishiro, Nanaksa was still worried about her. In response, Nanaksa kissed Yamori and thanked him once again. The next day, Yamori had fully recovered and was ready to be discharged, which left him deeply puzzled. After all, he had been shot. How could his wound have healed so quickly? To find answers, Yamori and Nanaksa invited Mishiro out again. To their surprise, they noticed that Mishiro had cut her hair. While they hesitated whether to mention it, Mishiro impatiently stated that if they had nothing important to discuss, she would leave. Seeing this, Yamori and Nanaksa brought her to a izakaya. Surprisingly, Mishiro ordered only a drink, which dissatisfied Nanaksa. Mishiro explained that she wasn't good with alcohol, but after Nanaksa's persistent nagging, she finally ordered a beer. Mishiro suddenly asked Yamori and Nanaksa if they had noticed anything different about her that day. They understood she was hinting at her haircut, but felt it was too late to bring it up. After thinking for a while, Yamori resolved the awkwardness by complimenting Mishiro's new hairstyle. After the light-hearted moment, it was time to discuss serious matters. Yamori couldn't think of anyone other than Mishiro who knew more about vampires. He hoped she could help him understand what was happening to him. Mishiro explained that, as she had said before, Yamori was undoubtedly human now. However, the moment he was shot, he seemed to briefly transform into something resembling a vampire. She speculated that Yamori might have already met the condition for turning into a vampire, falling in love with Nanaksa. However, being emotionally unaware, he hadn't realized it. In that critical moment, his heightened emotions allowed him to temporarily transform. Hearing that, Yamori finally felt relieved. It meant that one day, his wish to become a vampire could come true. Seeing an opportunity, Mishiro asked Yamori and Nanaksa about the progress of their relationship. By that, she was slightly drunk and even urged Nanaksa to help Yamori lose his virginity, suggesting it might speed up his transformation. Her drunken remarks left Nanaksa speechless. Though she was glad to see Mishiro returning to her old self, Yamori seemed to be on the verge of becoming a vampire. Will his wish come true? Follow my channel to stay updated on the latest developments in the series.